In this context, objects can be understood through the presentation of four kinds of valid cognition. Non-Buddhist teachers who have difficulty in discerning even the way cause and effect operate in relation to the physical environment and inhabitants of this world are ignorant regarding other subtle matters. People who follow them will thus come under the influence of innate and intellectually formed attitudes which must be given up, and they will be misled for a very long time. Those interested in their own good should leave false teachers. They should trust and value the true one. Question: why do those who seek liberation follow the foreigners?
Answer: because they are afraid to listen to teaching on emptiness. It is as follows: to be taken care of by a spiritual friend and go to the city of Nirvana, having rid oneself of the stains of conceiving things as truly existent, is very difficult. Though one with great compassion who did what was difficult to do has come to guide them, unwise people take no delight in letting their minds follow this guide because they fear emptiness. Question: who is afraid?
Answer: people like cowherds, who see neither virtues nor faults in it, can hear about emptiness 100 times without beginning to feel afraid, because they do not regard it as either beneficial or harmful. When one perceives emptiness directly through a gradual process of hearing, thinking and meditating, fear stops completely because one is free from conceptions of a self which are the cause of fear. Thus one can say with certainty that fear arises in people who have only a little knowledge of emptiness. It is like the following analogy: a well-trained person is not afraid to mount a mad elephant, nor is an extremely stupid person. Yet someone who knows a little about the dangers and benefits involved feels frightened. Question: why do they fear emptiness?
Answer: because of a lack of familiarity. Childish beings are certainly only familiar with innate and intellectually formed conceptions of a self which involve them in cyclic existence. Since such childish beings have no previous familiarity with a teaching that extricates one from the cycle of birth and death, they fear emptiness. One should therefore give up doctrines that are wrong and unwholesome. Emptiness should be taught to those who, because they feel grateful to the Tathagata, are suitable vessels, but who, because of their great fear, are tempted to reject it. Someone who not only has a total disregard for emptiness but is completely shrouded in ignorance and impedes teaching, hearing, and thinking about suchness out of jealousy, meanness, and the like will not even attain the good fortune of a high rebirth. This being so, what chance is there of such a person attaining liberation, since such actions are grave ill deeds? Rejecting dependent arising free from fabricated extremes is a more serious ill deed than killing 100 million people, so one must take care in this matter to avoid deceiving oneself.
Since denying emptiness is most detrimental to oneself and others, a lapse in ethical conduct is preferable. One should never lapse from the view of emptiness, for while the result of ethical conduct is a high rebirth, the view that understands emptiness takes one to the supreme states of liberation and enlightenment. Sutra says, "The wise only teach the view of suchness after carefully examining the vessel." It is also said, "It is best to teach the uneducated and unreceptive that there is a self in accordance with their conceptions of a self, for their attachment to the self will cause them to give up harmful behavior, making it easier for them to find a happy rebirth. It is not good to teach them emptiness, for they will ruin their three doors by rejecting or misunderstanding it." Thus teaching emptiness has a disadvantageous as well as an advantageous aspect. On the one hand, rejecting it through lack of appreciation or denying cause and effect because of taking non-existence to be the meaning of emptiness leads to a bad rebirth. On the other hand, the extraordinary who have mastered suchness attain peace.
One must definitely understand suchness to reach enlightenment in any of the three vehicles. Since the root of worldly existence cannot be cut without understanding emptiness, there is no other door to peace. Dependent arising's lack of inherent existence is called the fundamental mode of existence, ultimate truth, emptiness and selflessness. And is the object of hearer and solitary realizer exalted ones and of all exalted Buddhas. Understanding it destroys wrong views holding to extremes. Selflessness must not be taught to the weak-minded, for the very word emptiness terrifies the unreceptive. Does one see any so-called strong man who does not frighten the weak? For instance, just the sight of a lion or tiger frightens small animals. Assertion: since this teaching destroys all wrong views, it should be taught to the unreceptive in order to defeat its opponents. Answer: Tathagatas do not teach this principle only to outshine opponents in debate but as the door to liberation. Nonetheless, this teaching of emptiness bums up others' wrong contentions just as fire consumes its fuel without formulating the intention to bum. The master also says, question, how does this teaching bum up others' contentions, when understanding of it arises in the mind of someone with interest in it?
Answer, whoever comes to know the nectar-like taste of this teaching, the emptiness of inherent existence, through hearing, thinking and meditating will not relish views adhering to the true existence of things. The Master Aryadeva therefore says that this teaching of emptiness seems to him like the door and means to the destruction of wrong views. Alternatively, he says it with texts on emptiness in mind, in that the words of the Buddha that teach emptiness also seem like this to the Master. Question, why does emptiness not cause the exalted fear? Answer, because they have destroyed the seed of attachment to the self. Since they have no attachment to views of a self or hostility toward selflessness, how will those who think that external and internal phenomena are in reality selfless and who abide in a direct understanding of this be pleased by the existence of the self or frightened by selflessness? Fear therefore does not arise in those who have direct understanding of selflessness because they have eliminated the cause of fear. The forder's many venomous snakes drive their students into thorny thickets of wrong views holding things to be truly existent, the seed of uninterrupted futile suffering in cyclic existence, daily killing their life force of virtue consistent with